Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. I saw a question on the Ronson lighter Facebook group yesterday about how to put a new wick in a Ronson Crown table lighter. So I thought I'd hop in here and demonstrate real quick. I haven't done it on this particular lighter before. It does have a very big tank in it, and as the comments on that Facebook group thread indicated, there was a lot of wadding pulled out of it, for sure. So, but no other way to start, just like you would any other lighter. Maybe a lot of it in there, but you got to start pulling it the same way. So I start with these picks, and usually I can get grab a little bit of that cotton wadding with my finger, and then the pair of pliers, and just start pulling. And this one's going to tear a couple times here at the beginning, but then it's going to come out pretty good. It's going to come out. Most of it came out in 2 long streams. If you like these sort of instructional videos for old petrol lighters, then please subscribe to the channel when you get a chance. That would really help as we continue to grow the channel. Also, like the video that you're watching. See where that tore there? So once it tears, then you just gotta regain purchase somehow or another, and not much to it. As I was saying, like the video that you're watching, and hit the share button. Share it with your friends. Send it off in an email, text message, however it is that you communicate with people these days, and let them get a look at it for themselves. Maybe they'd be interested. Maybe they can find a hobby that that they didn't know was even out there. Also, social media, Dependable Flame and DependableFlame.com, on Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, and of course on eBay. We would appreciate it if you would like us there as well. All of those things, will help us as we grow the channel moving forward. So it's just a long, slow. Actually, came out a lot easier than I expected, but I did tear it a couple of times. And it is not exciting's probably the wrong word, but encouraging maybe when you start pulling it out like this, and it just it's almost just coming out without you even pulling. It seems like that is very encouraging, but still, it's just a very mundane. This sort of part of the job is nowhere near as cool as lighting it up or making a video of the working lighter. This is the nuts and bolts, the down and dirty part of the job that it's really just not any fun. There you can see the wick. Which I didn't even check to see whether the wick in this one was could have been tugged up or not, because I just grabbed the first crown that I saw with the intention of re-wicking it. Sometimes you gotta jerk it around there kind of like a dog trying to keep a chew toy away from you or something. Be careful if you have to get your pliers in there not to bang up those threads. As you can see there, just getting a hold of a little bit of it. Oh well, there, yeah. The wick came on out. And now we'll get back hold of a little bit of it. And I believe from that point, the rest of it comes on out in one piece. I've used one of these lighters before. I had it sitting beside me in my old house. And talk about conserving some petrol fuel now. Fill one of these up. You're not going to have to refill it very often. Very large tank. And a lot of cotton wadding in there holding that fuel. Sort of reminds me when we used to TP people's houses when I was a kid. That's it, except for that little piece of fuzz there that I'll get off eventually. Now we're going to go ahead and prepare the wick to snake it down through that chimney. I use this silver beading wire, and I just tie it like a knot, like the initial knot when you're tying your shoe. And that's all the knot that you're going to need. Get that in, make sure you got enough of your wick in it. You can always trim off the end if you need to. You don't want too much sticking through there, or it's going to bind up, bunch up, and not want to go through the chimney in certain instances. So, once again, pretty close, but not so close that the wire is just going to pull off. You pull that tight, and I mean tight, and then fold those each side down, then it should have enough to hold on to it. And as you pull that down through the wick chimney and the tank of the lighter. So as I said, pulled very tight, and now fold each side straight down. And then once you've got it down as straight as you can go, and just spin that wire to form a cord. And it'll twist up in your fingers there. And once you got enough of it, you want a pretty good length. Definitely want it long enough that you can retrieve it out of the fill hole of the lighter and still pull it through to get your wick into place. So we got enough there. Go ahead and tie it off. And then cut it with a pair of scissors. That knot will be plenty small enough to go through there. Twisting this up will also keep you from getting hung up on anything in there. At times you go pulling that through there like a loop, you can get snagged. So there's the prepared wick. Now the comment on the Facebook group recommended disassembling the top mechanism, but that's not really, for getting the wick in there this quick this way, it's not really necessary. But it wouldn't be anything wrong with it if you needed to clean it out. If you want to make sure it's sparking and all, then but yeah, just get that fed down the wick chimney there, and then you're going to have to retrieve that other end of the wire out of the base. So get a hold of that. You pull it, careful not to pull too fast. You pull it right on through and then have to start over again. Sometimes this is easier than it is others. This one was fairly easy. Made sure that I didn't have anything that was going to hang up. Everything was relatively straight. And then pull it on through there. And once you get it down pretty close, then you just go ahead and close your snuffer on it for now so you don't lose it till you get your wadding and everything in there. Cut the wire off the wick, and then you're going to start stuffing your cotton back in it. You want to have that wick intermingled with the cotton as best as possible, and of course the cotton wadding to be packed as densely and tightly as possible. I didn't get it quite as dense as I should have, or I didn't get it all back in. As much as it was, I mean, I got 95% of it back in there. I'm not going to sweat that last 5%. But you'll see when we get to the end, I didn't get it all back in there. But once again, when there's this much of it, I don't know how much that last 5% really makes. So get it stuffed back in there the best you can. Just don't want to damage the threads to your lighter, getting that last bit stuffed back in there when it's not really necessary. So get your wick. Don't just let the wick go at the beginning and just, you don't want all your wick up at the top. You want the wick to be dispersed as best as you can amongst the cotton at every level. So there, I was probably over halfway done, and I'm going to take and get that packed into each side and hopefully the corners as well as I can. Make sure that there's not some big hole, some big air pocket that you formed in there. So as you can see, that was a big pile of wadding that was sitting there. And you know, without a ton of effort, I mean, probably more effort than it looks like here. You don't, my arthritic carpal tunnel ridden hands are definitely working. But once again, it's not too much effort to get it back in there. You know, up to the point that there just wasn't much room left to thread. So anyway, it wasn't exactly the question wasn't about re-wadding, getting the wadding back in there. That's up to you if you want to pack the whole thing. I don't think it's necessary if you're you know, as long as it's packed relatively dense, and you know, you got foam inserts in some of those petrol lighters that holds it different than the cotton or rayon. Um, so once again, the question I was answering here was how to put the new wick in. Um, so you decide how critical it is you want to get the rest of that wadding back in there or not. Go ahead and fuel it up. And then get your fill screw back on. Once you get that fill screw back on, then we're going to go ahead and trim up the wick. And that's going to complete this project. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it is helpful and answered the question. Until next time.